I watch up. Okay, we're live.
Yeah, like, all right. Same time, everybody. Super excited to be here today again. Um, and yeah, as you can expect, we're in the hackathon season, and you would always see live streams, workshops, and initiatives like this, right? And again, it is no other reason than to provide support to both technical and non-technical folks that are building for the hackathon, right? So today we are back, and we're going to be talking about Anchor. And if you build on Solana, you cannot deny the fact that Anchor is one of the prominent frameworks that runs most of the programs on Solana, right? So today we're going to be looking into Anchor V1, a recently released version. What you need to know about it, how it works, and more technical details, right? And we have no other person than Inspiration. He will be the one to walk us through it. And yeah, I don't think Inspiration needs any formal introduction. He's always been here. And if you join our developer calls, you would always see him, right? So without wasting any more time, let us bring Inspiration on stage. Please, let's give him a round of applause.
I beg. All right, GM everyone, GM. Let's get
Yeah.
started. What we're going to be doing today. Let me pull up my screen, and I think this one is good. Entire screen. That should entire screen. Okay, you like it? Please, can you add it on board? Let's bring it up.
Um, the screen you're sharing.
Yes, just add it to the stage so it will be on board.
I don't think I have that privilege, but let's see. Hold on a minute. So yeah, I mean, you can keep just like talking, spending the time that the screen will be up.
Okay. So what we'll be doing today is migration guides, all the new and flashy things that Anchor V1 has brought. There are a couple of things that has increased the DevX. So we'll be all of them. If you are someone that eats all of those lifetimes, you create a lifetime, you do info something. If you have, let's say you have an instruction that needs to talk to another instruction via maybe you're exposing it from your entry point and it's calling another instruction in a folder. What you would actually do with Anchor, previous Anchor, let's say 3130 is you write the info lifetime, then you do this weird info underscore lifetime underscore thing. You'll see what that looks like in a minute. But now all of that is gone with Anchor V1, right? You can actually just drop that info lifetime in your instruction handle. But we'll get to that real quick. So the setup, first thing is you want to make sure everything that you have in your environment, dev environment are up to date because Anchor V1 runs on Solana CLI 3. So you need to have three upwards. If you're using 2 point something, you have a lot of change, break, dependency, conflict, and all. So first thing, you want to make sure all of your environments are up to date. So just follow the guide, basically, blah, 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 blah. But that's not what we talk about, right? And some other interesting things are, we will get to it then. If you are familiar with writing Anchor test, TypeScript test, and everything lives inside Coral, right? Coral XYZ. Then you install the Coral SDK basically. Now the Coral SDK has moved to a different home. It's now inside Anchor Core. Let me show you that. Anchor Core npm. So it has moved from Coral. Yeah, I think it's this one. This one, the 2025. Is it this one? Yeah, it's not on Core though. I don't think it's this one, but we'll get to it. It's on the website, so we'll definitely get to it. Just giving you some teasers on what we're going to be doing. Okay, first thing, you already know about constraints and all, right? You can write this workshop is for you already know what Anchor is to some extent. You've written some Anchor programs. You want to see what the new things that you can do with Anchor, right? Because with every new version, every major new version, there'll be some API changes. Most of them are backwards compatible, not all of them are backwards compatible. And you'll see those in a minute. So let's come to the man of the hour. So what you want to go to is you go to this Anchor project update, then go to release notes. If you come to this major docs here, Anchor docs, scroll down to Anchor project updates right here, and you see the release notes. So every release note there's a release note for every major release. So 32.1, what are the new things that came with it? 32.0, what are the new things that came with it? How to upgrade and all. But now V1 is stable. This is our first stable release of Anchor. So that's a big win for Anchor, right? So what are the major change logs that happened in V1? I think this one takes us to the GitHub. But if you want to see a neater version of that a little bit, okay, I think it's loading up now, hopefully. Yeah. So a lot of things were added, how to fix them, what the breaking changes will be. But this is not a neat overview. So this is where the neat overview lives, right? So first thing, how to upgrade using AVM. You just do AVM self updates. If you copy this, let me see this my okay, control T. You paste that in here, AVM self update. It checks do you have all of the so I'm already up to date. I'm on AVM 1.0, Anchor 1.0 rather. So if you want to do it outside of AVM, you want to manage it yourself, you can start. You can use this to manage it yourself if you don't want to use AVM to manage your Anchor. Just like using NVM, Node Version Manager. If you don't want to manage your node with NVM, you could install your Node.js independently and just use whatever version you want, right? So also there's AVM. You already know what AVM is, right? Cool. And so, like I said, it's best to use 3.1.10 for Solana because that's like the most recent. That's the tool chain that this version supports. Yes, I said the TypeScript package now lives at Anchor Lang Core, no longer Core XYZ. Remember this popular TypeScript package, right? I mean, pump up the front a bit. Remember this popular Coral package? This thing was a nightmare then. When that back then in Turbine Q3 last year, every single time write a program, I have to install all of this, install, configure your test, write your TypeScript test, use wow, we've written a lot of TypeScript tests with Anchor. This package was a nightmare. But now it has moved to a cleaner name, Anchor Lang Core. Copy this, and I go to npm and I search that one, should be there. Yes. So this is it now. And we also see some of the, let me check, is it now using Kit or is it using Web3.js? Or is it using Web3.js, not on Kit currently? But yeah, they would eventually get it to Kit, hopefully, probably. Definitely they should. I mean, why not? All right, so I'm not judging Anchor now. I'll try to explain the migration guides. So yeah, then, so for your imports, you sort of just instead of having the XYZ anchor, just do it from anchor lang, but same import statement, but just the directory is different now. Then now they had exposed the IDL on the root of the package instead of going into anchor this CGS IDL. Now IDL is exposed from core directly. So if you're writing a test, you just type IDL and you use anchor lang instead of Coral XYZ, then you will see it will auto the intelligence will auto complete that for you, and you will see that it's imported from anchor lang core, not anchor XYZ, blah blah blah. Yeah, what else? Okay. And who caught that we now have a default local test environment, softpool, right? So softpool is now the default test environment instead of Solana local validator, right? But you could still use that, but if you want to keep using Solana test validator, just pass this as legacy. But if you by default now your test runs with softpool locally. Yeah, duplicate mutable account disable by default. Okay, that means if you have say passing the same mutable account twice in an instruction now produces a runtime error by default. If you intentionally need duplicate mutable accounts, use the dupe constraint. So if you introduce a new constraint, so if you have two identical accounts for whatever reasons you want to you want to do that, I don't know why you want to start the same account. Whatever. All right. So and it's very identical, like the same account exactly. Just put in the dupe trait here. I think this might be very common with token accounts. Would it be? I think yes, it might be common with token accounts. So you just put dupe. So for for you to be able to pass the duplication test, right? Because if you are copying the same account twice, you're just wasting CUs, right? So that's basically it. What else, what else, what else? Legacy ideal instruction plus this one. Okay, okay, okay. Now there's a cleaner way to do CPI context. If you have a token program, you want to interact with the token, you want to send the token. Instead of passing the token program in the account info, you can just call token ID as a as a you import it in your ROS code by just type token, then to automatically derive this for you, and it can take the ID now instead of taking in the account info, right? So the program field in CPI context previously held a redundant copy of the program account info. It has been removed. So you just pass in the ID of the token program and the accounts you are doing. If you're writing CPI context, let me see. Let me see if I can pull up something while I'm talking about it. CD documents, Solana, no, not CD. It says CD, not CD. Solana, to then Anchor in its V1 votes. Everybody likes the votes. Right? V1 votes, hyphen package manager, PM, hyphen template multiple. Did I spell that right? Template multiple. Then I to initialize it inside a folder called V1 Vault. I hope this works. I know I'm always messing up my anchor constraint, my anchor CLI command. Anchor help, anchor new help, anchor new help says anchor. What was the error you gave me? V1 unexpected argument of anchor init, not anchor new. It should be anchor init. Initializing is creating a new anchor repo, but new is adding a new program to an existing anchor repo. If you are initializing a new workspace, so anchor init, what are the options? Templates multiple. I got that correctly. So why did they say? Let me try that again. Anchor init. Okay, manager. Okay. Let me see if the name should come last. Yeah, I think that was a problem. The name should come at the end of it, not before the air flags. That's the problem. Okay, so if I cd into v1 initialized the v1 vault, I code that one. Okay, bump it up. I was trying to demonstrate CPI. Okay, so inside my instruction, for whatever reason, cancel codex, sleep. There's no instruction. Okay, let's see. I think it lives without the libres. Okay, if for whatever reason I want to make a transfer, so I can do a what is it to do? CPI context new token ID. If you want to do a transfer on the token account on token program, so I paste this. So I do token resolve. Okay, Rust Analyzer is still doing its thing. Let's give it a minute. Let me also check if Anchor terminal is on 32. Anchor version is on 32. Cargo terminal, rather. Inside this. Yeah, yeah, sorry, one, not 32. And now rising, the lightest game is also pulled in by default. That's one of the best news ever. Yeah, great. Lightest game gets pulled in by default. And let me see, the test is still in TypeScript, right? I say, wow, cool. We have the Rust test now. Beautiful. Shout out to Anchor guys, right? Shout out to them. This is cool actually. But you could still write your test with TypeScript if you wanted to. But I prefer writing my test in Rust since I wrote my program in Rust. It's not difficult actually. It's just yeah, and especially you get to reuse account structure. If you have an instruction or a struct or an enum, you could just call the same things inside your test instead of trying to translate what to look like in TypeScript and all, right? So cool. Yes, so now we have this guy. I was doing token resolve that for me. Let me start typing from the beginning. I think I need to install. We're still doing this check. I need to install what's it called? Um, Anchor SPL token instead of Anchor. Yeah, Anchor SPL. Is that even the right? That the name? There's a 1.0.0. Is that correct? Yeah, is that correct? It's taking forever to resolve this Rust analyzer. Okay, links the Rust. It's blah blah blah. It's not valid. It's not any of keyword. Maybe okay. This is not on one yet. Let me remove that. Yeah, a lot of breaking changes everywhere, but you guys, it's token ID. So that token should come from Anchor Lang token actually, or is it global? It's not global, right? Yes, it needs to be called in from somewhere. Let me see. Let's check the docs back. Yeah, I would actually need to have Anchor SPL, Anchor SPL token to pull in token. That's a no-brainer actually. That's obvious. So let's see if that's work. So it's on 0.18. No. Anchor Lang. I think Anchor Lang SPL token. Anchor Lang token. Ah, 1 minute. Let me reach base myself. It's easy to forget names of these things. Crates.io. It's Anchor SPL token actually. I think it's Anchor SPL token. Anchor SPL token search search. I was correct actually. So why was it rate basing me? 0.18. This shouldn't this be on? Okay, okay. I'll get it from Uncle Lang. Right? Anchor Lang. Let's get it from Uncle Lang. It should be a dependency, hopefully. Anchor Lang V1 dependencies, dependence. Then we should have Anchor SPL. That's what I needed. So what I needed was Anchor SPL, and this should be on version 1. Yes, so this is what I needed. Anchor SPL, not Anchor SPL token. Anchor Lang. That's Anchor SPL. Yep. So that should be good. Then if we come back to our Libres, then we start typing token. If Rust Analyzer is done, start typing token, it should install. But Rust Analyzer is not done yet, so let's give it a minute. Go Rust Analyzer, go Rust, go Rust, go Rust. Uh, okay, while that's going on, let's continue with the docs we're reading. I'll come back check it in a little bit. So you have your CPI context, you pass in the token ID, then the accounts want to transfer. That's inside a transfer instruction, right? You know what that looks like. Then interface instruction is removed. So the interface instruction feature flag and the interface attribute has been removed. Use a instruction, then discriminator to specify custom directory. I should do an example of this one too. Once that is done, I think it's done. Token work. Yes. Yeah, it worked. So we have token and we have ID on top of token. And if we just save this, we have an error here because we don't have CPI account defined anywhere. I think expected uh this yes. Yes, now the problem is this CPI account. Let's do some arbitrary accounts. Let CPI transfer equals a transfer. Which one are we using? What do we use here? Token was from system program, right? Yeah, let's do system program. Assuming I'm doing a system program transfer. Yeah, you pass in from who is this from? A person who we are sending to, let's say, ctx dot accounts dot. We don't have any account inside initialize. Let's see. We don't have any account inside initialize. What the hell? Accounts. Let's just assume there's an account here, immutable account, and we want to call the account um, token A, which is a token account. So that is interface account. Uh, let me use interface account. Interface, then info, token account. I think that works. Yeah, I'll do a token B. Yes, I will. I will do that. Token B. Also put in our info here also. Yeah. So what's the problem now? I need to have a token program, right? Token account ID is not satisfied. Blah, 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 blah. I think it's just info token, not token account. Yes, I think it's this one. I'll check the docs now. 1 minute. No, that's not it. Implement trace. Yeah, let's get back to the docs. Everything breaking everywhere. Let's see. Come on. Let's see. Right in the local example. Example program. Let's say example program. And we get to token. Where's token? Token. Transfer. So let's do this one. account transfer. So let's do user user A. Let's call this one user B. User B, and we're just going to pass it as an account, a regular system account. Let's use the system account for now, right? System, the system info, system account info. Yeah, same here. System account info. Are we done? Okay, we're done. So, one transfer from user A to user B. That's correct, right? Yes, correct. So there should be a signer there, but now this is not going to run. I just want to make a point that we have CTF accounts that's from user B, transfer from user A to CTX.account dot user B. And I think this should take in account info, right? So convert this to account info dot to account info dot to account info. All right. So we have those are the accounts that are using for the CPI. So now we can put this CPI account, CPI accounts, and that should work. So now what's the problem? Operator CPI context. Okay, CPI context new. That's not sending the instruction yet. So now where's all the errors come from? Okay, I need to do an okay outside there to make the error go away for now. Okay, so let's CPI context equals CPI context this. So what's the problem here? Move of borrowed. Let's remove this first. That's the problem. Okay. Now we have the CPI context, then we can call this. I can call that invoke on this first. No, not on this. So we'll do a transfer using system program, right? System program. Then the context is this one. Just created CPI context. How much I was sending? Let's assume I'm sending 1,000 units. Then we do this semicolon transfer. Cannot find transfer. You can find transfer. Find this transfer. I just imported it. Transfer from system instruction. Let's call it from system instruction. Provide pub key. Hold on. Okay. Not that one. What was it? That one. Not that transfer. A lot of transfers here. System instruction. Yeah, no. The actual. Not this one then. Transfer. Okay, it's not even installed. It's not even pulled in yet. Token transfer. Let's check this one. This one would fail though. Yes, I know it will fail. Okay, let's see what it takes. Takes in three arguments. This one is taking in argument of type pub key. Moment. Transfer is taken from to and port. This one is the wrong one. Let me look for the transfer of from the CPI context. You can use that. I don't want to do direct removing lamp ports like this. We have a transfer instruction that also works from. Let me see if I can just do invoke sign on this one. Token, get token here. Okay, that one. Token. All right. Oh, is my? I think my camera went off. Oh, sorry guys. No what happened. 1 minute. Okay, that's fine. So which transfer is giving us the problem? Let me try to import it. Transfer address, not down. CPI. This is the one I need. System program. Yes. So why is it telling me CPI context? And output, let's call it 10,000. Okay. Let's call that 10,000 outputs. was here now. Taking three arguments. Ah, yeah, context dot main account. Okay, okay. Let's just do it the same way as here. But I do not want to do it this way. I hate doing it this way. System program transfer. This is okay. Just getting on my nerves. This is exactly what I'm doing. System program transfer. I'm passing the CPI context and the amount. Let me call it exactly the same way. Uh, Someone said, all your review. Okay, that one. Let me call it directly from this place. Yes, system program transfer. And this one should take a, let me see the system programming. System program. Yeah, I think this should make all the words go away. So now this is accepting, what is accepting? CPI context. CPI context and an amount of 10,000 units. Now we cannot find transfer. Is everything broken? Oh, minutes. Let me try to set it the proper way. System program. It's Anchor system program. Let me see that one. Expected semicolon. Okay. System program transfer. I think this one should work. Yes, finally we've gotten the system program that works. Like 1,000 tries just to get this. Okay, so what I wanted to point out here was that we can have token ID here, right? Instead of previously you would have done account info of ctx dot program let's say token program, then dot to account info. But now we don't do all of that. We can just do token ID, and that solves the problem, right? All right, so let's get to the next change. What's the next change? So what's taken out here is just this token ID. Okay. Next thing is one. So migration. Yeah, there was this problem previously that you could move if you want to move your account from a previously known account to another account struct. Let's say you have an account state like status. You have obstruct first account. Then you have whatever field you have inside it. Let's say pub taker is a pub key. Are we using pub key if you want? Are we using address? No, I think I still using pub key, but pub key exposes address. Pub key, let me input. So use anchor lamp, prelude, everything from inside there. So now pub key should not give us a problem, right? Right. So we have taker, maker is pub key also. Pub maker is also pub key. Then you want to change the account. You now have another account, right? So this is an account. This is an account. Use another account to account. So we have, let's call it second account. Second account. Then we have another field, right? Let's call it pub third field. Whatever type that one is, let's assume it is of type pub key also. Because why not? So now we have two accounts. This is we have a lot of accounts that are like this, and we want to migrate it into something like this, or maybe something more. You have more things you want to add to it, right? Without breaking code, there is this migration that makes it easy now. So what you would do is you put it into a migration account. Migration is struct or account type. No, looking for the word. Is it a struct? I don't know if it's a struct. Let me check. It's not a struct. Hopefully, let's write that first and see. Migration. Migration. What is a struct? It is a struct. Bob struct migration testing and info from to. So you have this migration struct, then you pass in what your old account looks like, what your new account looks like, right? And you are able to move accounts without breaking things, right? So if you just created the account type randomly, you update your code and create the account type randomly. If other users come to your program and try to call that instruction with a different account shape, with an account that's the bytes, not everything is written in bytes now. The bytes not aligned, the length of the bytes are off. It will keep giving your users errors, right? Until a migration happens. So you can do this migration there. So I'll update your code and have this migration there. That this is what the old account looks like, but this is what the new account looks like now. So it will just be passed as a regular account, but Anchor now knows that this is the new size of the account. Right, so that's one neat thing that migration does for us there. Um, what else? What else? What else? Yes, this was a lifetime thing I was talking about. If you had an instruction that was calling another instruction somewhere, like something like instruction, okay, we have libraries here. If I wanted to call another instruction that I defined here, and I want to pass remaining accounts, I could not pass previously. I could not pass remaining accounts. Let's see. Let me call it instructions. Let me do what's inside the initialize. Okay, okay, initialize here. If I wanted to do, okay, 1 minute. Let me see what good example that would be. We might not throw the error here. Let me see. Handler B, we call it handler B. Oh, yeah, yeah, I remember now. So I want to have an, it's not fail for that one. If I have an implementation info, implementation info, initialize, initialize info, and we have a function that's called whatever the function is called here, right? And two. Okay, so we have this implementation. If I needed to call remaining accounts inside here, if I needed to do, but I think this one will pass though. CTX the remaining accounts. So might pass. How am I doing it? Can I read it? Expected this. It's not a function actually. It's not a function. It's just if I wanted to work with remaining accounts here previously, it would tell me that I needed to pass in all of the long, all of this long lifetime from from the super, right? From this guy that is calling it. If I put the account here and I say ctx dot account dot what do I call it? Um, instructions initialize, call it handler two. That's bad naming convention. Handler two this way. Okay, handler two. And inside my librs and I call ctx dot accounts. Hopefully should have handler two. ctx. Yeah, and Latu is not coming up. Why is not coming up? If I actually wanted to call that instruction, I would need to pass in a long list of saying, and then another one. And I keep going up until the maximum. I think this year three lifetimes before the info one. I need to pass all of those lifetimes. But now I can just have direct access to remaining accounts without doing all of those edits now. So and if I did not even need to put in info at all. So I could put in info like this, or I can remove the info totally and it will still know how to get all of the inferred accounts under the hood. Right. Yeah. So there's another one using account info directly inside the thank God. They've removed that. That thing is okay. Let me show you what that means. Mm, okay, we have an account here. Let's call the account third account. Third A. Then we put an account info. I don't think it's here anymore. So it says deprecated, right? Let's see if it's deprecated actually. If it's one me, deprecated. Yes, deprecated. What this usually give us previously was, let's say you have this account struct. What was it called? Inside state. It was called second account. It's called second account. Second account, right? Right, good. If we had this account, it's telling me deprecated, right? So if we had this account, you could just say this is an account info and pass in something that you, and you have to put your check. Let's put a check here that says why they should pass. Check some weird reasons why they should pass. Okay, so now the reason it's giving me is now is deprecated, right? Before you could just do this and it will work, but the problem is you're expecting it to be a regular account info, but you're not doing any checks on it. So for you to explicitly tell a user that this account does not need any check, you should use unchecked account instead. That's basically what this is about. So you can use unchecked accounts or zero now. Struct takes in zero generics. Okay. Yes, unchecked accounts. If you're using unchecked account, you're not going to pass in any type to it. So because the account is unchecked, you don't need to check it against any constraints. So now you're now saying if I remove this, you should give me an error or a warning that there's no check on it. Okay, did not give me a warning. But you need to put your checks to explain why this account is unchecked. Why don't you need to check for this account? Do you expect the account to be an admin account or whatever reason why? So now they've totally removed that account info. And now any account that does not require a check, just put account unchecked account instead of using account info there. So that's basically what that's saying. To prefer unchecked accounts for a more specific account type. Then relax PDA needs syntax. Seed syntax rather. Are we still good on time? We're almost out of time, but let's keep going. Seed expression accepted inside seed constraint and now more flexible software products and abstraction. Yeah, for the seeds. Let me get to instruction. I think everybody is familiar with this instruction, right? So in instruction, if you have, let me get to an example before I get back to the seeds. If you have an instruction, yeah, an instruction struct that needs an external argument passed from the client, and you need that argument inside, let's say, as a seed to derive one account. Let me do an example of that. I have instruction, and I'm saying uh, user number. Let's call it user number. User number is of type U64 for whatever reason. So let's see. Instruction is ambiguous. Name conflict with a derived helper attribute. Use self instruction to infer to this. What did I call instruction from? This is self instruction. Okay, he said I should use self instruction. I think that's the major thing he said there. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so catch the mismatches that were previously silent. Now we need to know that I need this user number from this initialize struct instruction handler. You get to that. Let me show you how what that can mean. Uh, Let me do this. This is seeds equals okay. Let me do that this place. Let's create another account. Let's create a fourth account. So create a fourth account, and that would be a regular account with an info, and let's use that second account. Second account. Okay. So if I want to derive the account, I can say the seed equals an array of, how we derive seeds now. We do a buffer, a byte array of, let's say, hello, and let's say you want to use user B dot key, I think dot key. Then you want to use something else. Let me put a bump here because I want to derive it, it needs to bump. Or else that error will not go away. Yes, user dot key, okay, dot pub key rather. As on client, I'm inside the program, pub key. Yeah, that's the problem. There's a method key. This messing with me. I say I should use pub key, now I say I should use key. Pub key, user b dot key. Let's see. Yes, dot key. That's what I want. Dot um dot to as ref. That's ref. So I guess that's the reference to that. So that should work there. Yeah. So now, if I needed some value that is passed from the client to be part of the driving seats for this account, I just put it here. I need, is it U64, right? User number dot to early bytes. Early bytes. I think early bytes should work there. User number, cannot find user number in this scope, not found. What do I call it? User number. Uh, Let me see. Self. Will that one work? How to use it? Self. User number. Let me bring it down. That might be the problem. That should not be the problem though. Let me remove this one first. The error will now move from here to here. Okay, yeah. So it says remove the 12 byte. Just let me see without converting to byte if it will work. It should not work without converting to byte. Yes, convert it to byte. So to early bytes. Early bytes, not big endian bytes. Early bytes. Then I should remove the borrow, what it's trying to tell me. So remove borrow. No, so that cannot be the reference. You said I should remove the borrow just now. Cannot be reference. Cannot be the reference. Okay, let me see. Oh, needed me to borrow it. Okay, so now I can use whatever arbitrary value that user is passing in from, yeah. So if I'm accepting another instruction that is called, another argument that is called user number, and that's the use64, right? So it can infer it from this place inside this place directly. So that works. That one has been around since Anchor 31, but now it just needs you to be more specific on, said it enforces that the types and count of arguments in instruction match the correct instruction on that signature. So maybe it's saying if I'm expecting something more than user number, let me see user else is also a U64. Maybe that will throw an error. Okay, if I compile it to throw the error, I'm not compiling this or no. So let's get that part out of it. Okay, next thing on the migration. There's like a lot of things, right? There's a lot of things, but I'll just cover as most, which other important one is the ideal re-exported from client, re-exported from client, other client. Yeah. Okay, but everybody knows that Solana is moving towards addresses instead of pub keys, right? So if I come to state, I over on pub key, probably yes, it is now an address. But to not break the API, it's still called pub key. So but pub key is actually an address. So that's why in your TypeScript you would use address if it has been implemented there. It should be called address instead of dot pub key. Dot key is now dot address. That's been everywhere in Pinocchio since the previous release of Pinocchio. There. What else? What else is more important? Events. Okay, that's the client test. Uh, Error codes. Okay, okay. There was one part about error codes at the top also. Because I don't know about the names. Uh, okay. Previously defined types containing unsupported field tuples were silently omitted from. Oh, yeah. So this one is saying so unsupported fields like tuples inside the IDL will now throw an error instead of just silently ignoring it. I'm not talking about IDLs now, though. Mm, it's still using Bosch. That's why programs are still expensive. Are still consuming much to use. Okay, okay. Program info cannot be used without a type parameter. So executable only validation, complete type. What's this mean? Okay. Yeah. This one has been around since now. Generic program type. We've been using this for a while, a long time. For token also. Okay, you can now use it without the type. Previously we would do program then info type, but wouldn't that introduce some security vulnerabilities in that place? Let me see. Initialize. You said you want to put in a program. I just put it there as a program without the type of the program, let's say token program. So without you can use info, you can use program without putting in the type of the program it uses. But that means you have to take in more risk to maybe yeah, you can specify that I think account. No. ID is ID. Is your address. Can't remember. I think it's address. The address equals whatever address. So you put a constraint here. That means whatever address that they are passing here as a program ID must be what you specify in your program. That one reduces the risk of someone is putting a malicious program as your program ID here, and you are doing a CPI into that program, right? So that one reduces that risk. Let me see if you could put it as a constraint too, but that's not what I'm aiming for. Constraint, it's an account constraint equals program dot id program dot pub. I think it's dot key. I always missing this not dot key is equal to some program that is specified, and if it is not equal to that, throw an error. Right. So that one gives you a good edge to fight against someone putting in a malicious program into your contract inside your program. So yeah, that's that one about the program. So you cannot use the program without a program type. I don't know why someone pushed for that feature actually, but yeah, no problem. It's already there. We use it like that. So you can check reload on an account like revalidate or not in the same initial load. What else? This one is seed expression accepted inside seed constraint and now more flexible. Okay. Yes, inside this place, they are giving you more flexibility inside here. So you can now do, let's say, let's say if dot A, if dot A is equal to something, equal to this guy, use this guy, we can put the ternary there, equal to this guy, use this guy, else use B none. Let me see. She threw an error though. Okay, no error. Okay, there's an error. If dot A equals expected curly braces. If dot A equals this. Oh, sorry, my bad. Else use B none. Yeah, put it inside. I thought I was writing Python. Put inside this place. So yeah, what's this called the other? Cannot be applied inside unchecked accounts. This is not an unchecked account now. This is a checked account. Okay, dot A dot key. Okay. This one is unchecked account. Let me use user B. That's why. Let me use user B. You cannot do any check on an unchecked account. what it's saying. So now this should be a different error. Yes, I should be looking for the key. The key is equal to empty key. This should fill also. Yes, because this is string is not a key. So I can use a different default key, pub key, state default. No, not declared it. Whatever expression is put here. So you can do if this user is this person, use this key, use this seed to derive it. If is this person, use this. So you can just put in multiple expressions here. Is what you're trying to say. You can maybe you can even call a function inside of it. Let me see. You can call a function inside of it. No, the more complex expression like this. Okay, the more complex expression you use, it reduces the seed being representable in the idea. So if you have a seed that cannot color your expressions, it will remove it from automatically deriving the account in the IDL, and it will force your users to pass it in the client. That's what it's just saying. Okay, I think that's visually everything that is in the also Bosch got upgraded. That's basically everything in the release notes I've covered so far. Questions? Questions? No questions. I think we're good. I'm good to go. Amide, over to you.
Yeah, that was a lot actually. Well done, well done, well done. Thank you as usual. And I think that was quite thoughtful and insightful, and you delivered it well actually, despite the bugs that you were having.
He said never live code, but I don't agree to that. I write code live.
Writing code live is one of the hardest things in this life. Only a few people would understand that. If you're a dev, you know how it feels, right? But yeah, I mean, you've done it well, right? So guys, the floor is open to questions. If you have any question, if you have any feedback or any contribution to give, I think this is the right time, right? So V1 is here, and again, if you have any question about it, we can discuss it here, and we can also discuss it in the dev group chat. But I think we have about 2 3 minutes. Yeah, so inspiration can still take about one or two questions before we exhaust our time. So yeah, questions. But yeah, I mean, if you enjoy the stream, please drop a message in the chat. Drop W inspiration, W anchor, or anything, so we can know that you followed along and you enjoyed it. All right, all right. I don't think we have any more question. Um, I think we're good. But yeah, thank you, Mobot. I see your message. I don't think we have any more question, right? So inspiration. Thank you for being our guest today to talk about Anchor V1, how to migrate, how to try out some of the new things that are implemented in it, and yeah, how to get started basically, right? So it was nice having you, and shout out to everyone who joined. By the way, you guys are the real MVP, and it is because of you we're here. So we have other activities coming up. The hackathon calendar is up, right? So for you to be ahead of time, like you know what's coming, just go through the hackathon calendar. If you don't know where it is, go to Super Team NG official account on X. I think you should scroll down a bit, you'll be able to find it. So it contains everything that we'll be doing all through the hackathon season. So in the next 2 to 3 weeks, you can still expect more workshops, more activities like this, and more live streams, basically. So with that being said, I guess we'll be calling it a day now. And thank you everyone for joining once again. Inspiration, shout out to you for handling the session beautifully. So, guys, we'll see you some other time. Bye.